Okay. So if someone sees that Ruvain, Shimon's going into business with Ruvain, and Shimon doesn't know that Ruvain is dishonest, so you're meant to tell Shimon, and you know that Reuben's dishonest, you're meant to tell him not to go into business with him, and it's not called Lashon Hara, but you have to remember to fulfill the 5 conditions that we learned earlier in Klal Tesef Beis. Now, he says in the Hagah on the bottom, Vizor Ochiv, says, be careful, my brother, be careful. Don't use this as a heter. You see that Shimon wants to make a partnership with Reuven, and you don't know Reuven that well. Shimon doesn't know too well. And you know, not that Reuven is dishonest, but Reuven is not as affluent as he makes himself. Now you want to go tell Shimon so that he won't do the business with him. Says the Chofetz Chaim, that's an Isra. The Rambam writes, if you say other things that will cause in the Shmuel Ishmer Ish, that will, if heard, if it will be passed on, if you reveal something that if it's passed on, it's going to cause a hazik chaver begufa lahatzaloi. It's going to cause him physical hurt, emotional hurt. How is that lashon hara? Ve'ein doime klal l'shar nyam shetzukul kalis. And this is not the same as the cases where we said you do have to tell why. The Hossam, because over there, because in the cases where we said you're allowed to, you're saving that person from a direct loss. Masha'in came bazeh. They know shumrai lahafa. You have no proof that if the guy is not as affluent as he think is, that it's going to cause you a loss, cause that guy a loss. Maybe not. He's an honest guy. As I explained below. Okay, in the Be'er Ma'acham, he says that it's not so black and white that you're not allowed to tell him. He says, you're not allowed to go on your own. He didn't ask you. You're not allowed to go tell him. Very tremendous matzavi. But if, let's say, Shimon comes to him and says, do you know where he is financially? How's he doing? And Levi understands that Shimon's not just asking empty questions. He's asking it because he wants to go into business with Reuven and he wants to know if he's financially secure. So there, even in such a case where Shimon is expressing explicitly that if Reuven is not doing financially as well as it looks like, he doesn't want to do a business deal with him. That's what he doesn't want to do, right? It's not because Reuven's a crook, but he's going into business Reuven because Reuven is supposed to be a multimillionaire, and Shimon's doing his homework to find out if it's true. And Shimon came to Levi to ask him. So in that case, he says, "Mutar galishly." Then you're allowed to tell him. It's only true if you know clearly. You have to know, really know, that he's financially in a hole. And also, you have to evaluate the situation that if you tell Shimon that, Reuven won't find out that you told him. He says because if it's questionable where his finances are holding, or you evaluate that Reuven's going to find out that you are the one who told Shimon what you told Shimon. And it's going to cause now an argument, and fights. It's certainly also to respond to Shimon, which would make trouble for Ruvain. The best way to go in these things is that you should step aside and answer any of their I don't know how to give you advice, because I don't know well. I don't really know well his situation, so I can't really give you advice. That's the way the Chofetz Chaim says. In such a case, is the safe road. Okay, but let's say Shimon already closed the deal with Ruvain because he didn't know Ruvain's dishonest. And Levi knows Ruvain. He knows his nature. Totally was this. So now it depends. If he knows that, he tells Shimon. Shimon won't accept it as true. He'll just be cautious. He'll put some safety measures into his deals. Let's say. In other words, that Shimon, the Chofetz Chaim says, will be more cautious. He'll check the books. He won't rely on him with closed eyes. But that's it. But he's not going to cause any loss to Ruvain. Right? Like I said, he'll weekly check the books to make sure money's not disappearing. And then, yes, Levi has to tell Shimon, you made a business with Ruvain. I know him personally. He's not trustworthy. And be cautious. But again, you got to fulfill the 5 conditions we learned earlier. But if you see that if you tell Shimon, he's going to buy it, and he's going to work, he's going to react. But there's the other half said, because Ruvain, he'll break the deal, because Ruvain losses, then also the Galaslo. Then you're not allowed to tell him, because the fact is that Ruvain might be dishonest. It doesn't mean that Shimon has a loss. Shimon could just be careful. And any damage that Shimon will do to Ruvain is not halachically correct, and therefore you're not allowed to tell Shimon. Okay, that's that for today. Now in the Shmiras haLashon. In the Shmiras haLashon, we were up to the Zoyar. Okay, we're learning over here different personality or midos that a person has that commonly brings him to speak Lashon Hara. And we were discussing kas. First thing was someone who has an anger problem. So he says like this in the Zohar. V'zeu Lashon HaZorah Kodesh. Al HaPosuk, Chidu lachem min ha'adam sheneshama ba'apoi, ki b'ma nechshavhu. Which sounds like stay away from people, because what's his importance? Hocha pakit kuchabrichu, says the Zohar. This is a Zohar in Parshas Tetzava, and the pasuk is in Yeshaya Navi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is commanding Lebarnash to a person, Va'azrele, and telling him, Listamra me'inun b'nei nosha, to watch themselves from those people that have gone off the good way and have gone on the bad way, and they've defiled us and made themselves tomei from the sitra achra, from the other side. Asks the Zohar, how can a person know? Is this a person I should make a kesher with? Or this is a person I stay away from? How do I find that person? You could know, you could learn up the person in his anger. And you can know the person. I think in some way it says that a person is revealed through koisai, kasai, vikisai. Person is revealed through his cup. When he drinks, his essence comes out. When he's angry, his insides come out. And when it comes to money, you can see what the person is. So the Zohar is saying it through kas, you can know a person. If that person, if you see, then when he's being overcome with anger, so he doesn't. Not sure what that means. That he doesn't. I guess he doesn't lose it, and doesn't come to serve a false god. That's what we said. Kol hakois. You ovid avodah zarah. Dori barnash to the koyos. That's a good person. Yehu barnash loynato. But if this person is not careful when he gets angry, so he's a person who's removing the kedusha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and in place putting the tumah of the sitra achra. The mori, this is certainly a person who's rebelled the mori of Hashem, but also the korban ba'adei l'schabri made. And you're not allowed to be mischaber with him. You're not allowed to make any connections. He's throwing his nefesh away out of his anger. And he's implanting in himself an avodah zarah. On this person, it says, because he threw away. He switched. He threw away his neshama, his holy neshama. They begin apai because of his anger. He defiled it. Asher neshama achlef ba'apai. Kivamen nechshav ahu barnash. What is he considered already? He's considered like an avodah zarah. V'chulu ayin sham. Okay, so that's what Chazal say about someone who loses the Zohar is expressing this concept that the Gemara says that anyone who loses himself, gets angry, it's as if he's over avodah zarah. So the Zohar writes it in the Zohar terms. Ramu Chazal ko adam shekoyes. I feel poisker dulam and shamayim. Ram Sachim says that everyone gets angry, even if they had decreed that he should get greatness. Maridinoi said they knock him down. V'oidam Chazal Gemara nedarim. Kol hakoyes kamina gehenim sholtem. By anyone gets angry, all types of gehenim have power over him. And what does that mean? The l'chol oven b'fnei atzmai yesh b'gehenim oinisham yuchad oisa oven. Says that what does the Gemara mean? Says the Chafetz Chaim that every avera you do, so there's a specific punishment in Gehenna for that avera. Vayidei midas hakas. But when you get angry, the chomin averas, the mistoyin and baramidahu. Anger could bring you, he says, to all kinds of averas. You know, it's the anger itself a problem, but the anger brings you, you're losing it, to do all kinds of averas. Acham olav chazal. To the extent that Chazal said about such a person, should be do a shavaynosam rubim u'sfiyosam. He has more favors than merits. So therefore, that's why the Gemara in Durham says, "Kol mina gehenim sholtem by." All types of a gehenim have power over him because he's done all types of favors. And so, therefore, a person has to remove kas from his heart. Be not some medina shal gehenim, and will be saved from the punishment of gehenim. Yizkir chayolam haba, and he will merit Oilam Haba. Okay, Victor and recording, and then I know you send it off to what's his name, Ron.